Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Nicholas Malson speaking, and welcome back to another episode of my podcast, where you and I will hopefully smile once again. If this is your first time listening to this podcast, welcome, and I hope you will enjoy your stay. If you are a returning listener, welcome back. I do hope that you will enjoy your stay as well. As always, it is a pleasure to know that you have decided to listen to a follow-up episode of my podcast. So, the purpose of this podcast, as per usual, is to talk about positive things whilst not ignoring the negative ones and just simply focusing on positive vibes. We're trying to build them and maintain them here, just a nice corner full of optimism in this world full of grey. As per usual, couple of shoutouts before we begin this episode. Thank you to Anchor.fm for distributing this podcast with ease. Thanks to this platform, this podcast is available on such platforms as Spotify, Google Podcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and Breaker. This podcast is also available on YouTube. However, I publish the episodes manually, but I think it is possible to distribute them through Anchor.fm as well. But regardless, thank you to this service for helping me out and making my job much easier. I would also like to give a special shout out to my good friend and colleague Scott, who is running a channel on YouTube called Scotty's Running World. Link will be in the description. He is currently on the 99 subscriber mark, so you may be one of the people who can help him to get to the special 3-digit mark, which is 100. His channel is dedicated to everything related to jogging and running. He shares some really good tips on this kind of exercise, and he is also doing some shorts. He started doing some shorts recently, which are very, very well produced, and overall his content is well produced as well. So please give him some attention because he truly deserves it. So Scott is Running World, please visit his channel. And Scott, if you can hear me, I hope you're doing well, and I will speak to you later. As for my channel is called Smile Once Again Podcast. It's on YouTube with the same logo you may have already seen in other platforms. If you want to have a conversation via the episode, or you want your comment to be read out in public, feel free to leave a comment on any of the videos, and I will read it out and we'll discuss it. If you want a more anonymous conversation, or you just don't want your information to be read out in public, then please send me an email, which is smileonceagainpodcast@gmail.com. That's smileonceagainpodcast@gmail.com. No special characters, all in small letters, smileonceagainpodcast@gmail.com. Alright, with that being said, I hope you will enjoy the 18th episode of my podcast. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as I am recording this episode, it is now 6:13 p.m. at the Sunday evening, which is the 20th of February 2022. I do apologize for the delay in getting this episode released. I thought I would be able to schedule the release on midday as per usual. However, this week has been quite manic, and I simply didn't have time to just sit down and record something. However, I had some ideas. I wanted to record an episode during one of my breaks at work, because my break is usually an hour long, and I thought I could do that, but I'm not entirely sure what happened. I either may have forgotten, or I just got so busy with the lunch itself that I simply lost the track of time. So I do apologize for the delay. However, that idea has actually given me some plans for the future, because there may be a potential that I will be having more guests in this podcast, and I was thinking if it will be possible to perhaps record live conversations, maybe in one room or something like that. And I'm just trying to figure out if it is actually possible, and I do hope it is. The only concern that I may have potentially is the quality of the sound may be affected because I'm recording, from my room in a flat with a high quality microphone, and I do hope it is high quality. I hope you can hear me nice and well. And I do apologize for the squeakiness of the chair. It is a new chair, and it's really good, but it's just these squeaks. I'm not entirely sure where they come from. Let me just quickly readjust myself. So it is all live, of course. It just is what it is. But I do apologize if you hear the squeaks. Or the creaks, I think they're called. So, I may potentially work on, live conversations and stuff like that. But I may be using different microphone, which may sound differently. And, depending on where it is recorded, I do hope that the external noise will not be too bad. But if it is, I should hopefully be able to do some editing after the recording. But yeah, this is on the way, so we'll just see what's going on. If you do wish to be the guest of the episode, do let me know, and I think we will be able to arrange something. But I do have some ideas already, but there will always be a spot for you too. So yeah, as mentioned, my contact details: Smile Once Again Podcast on YouTube or Smile Once Again Podcast at gmail.com via email. So, recently, our country, the United Kingdom, has been going through Storm Eunice, and it's been a pretty severe storm. I have seen quite a lot of fallen trees, much more than I would normally see after the storm. So this one was a pretty strong one, definitely. But thankfully, I have been safe and I made it through, so that's all good. Hopefully next week will be a bit more peaceful with regards to weather. I do hope that you have all been safe too. I'm not sure if you guys have been affected by this storm one way or another. But I think it is still quite windy as I am recording it. It is Sunday evening, and I don't think that Eunice has been finished yet, I think. But, fingers crossed, it will be okay. But yeah, but what I was thinking when I was planning to record an episode, I was walking outside the office, and there were some really nice and lovely views around, and I was thinking just taking a seat and press a record and just go for it. And what I've noticed is that there can be some moments of serenity during recording, so maybe I'll be able to do something similar. But definitely not record during the storm. That is not a good idea. But we'll just have to see. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, sorry. So, I don't really know what to say about the storm and what I can say about it, either positive or... I don't even want to say anything negative out of it. Storm is a storm. It is a weather. And all that. But yeah, just stay safe. That's pretty much what I can advise about that. Yeah. So, I think one bit that I did want to discuss in a bit more detail is tidy home, tidy mind. A special person of mine has paid me a visit this weekend, and we had a lovely time together. We just enjoyed each other's company, and it's been great. And we just felt really happy, and just went out, enjoyed what we could enjoy despite the weather. Um, and yeah, I think throughout this week, I was just trying to make sure that my place looks as tidy as possible, which is pretty much the main reason why I didn't record the podcast earlier. I should have, but I couldn't. I do apologize in advance. Um, Essentially, this experience has taught me a few lessons. First things first, if you do have a tidy space, your mind will not be distracted by it. You can focus on different things. You can just stop worrying about how your place looks like and just carry on working with what you want to work with. Secondly, dedicating one day for cleaning is not a good idea, at least not for me. What is best to do, the best thing to do, at least for me, is to dedicate all the days that you have available simply by doing simply doing small things. Like, for example, on Monday you can perhaps tidy up the bathroom. Then on Tuesday you can check the kitchen. Then on Wednesday you perhaps can sort out the living room or bedroom or whatever. Then on Thursday you can just simply do some mopping or hoovering and all that stuff. So pretty much doing like small things each day can help you maintaining the cleanliness, okay? Because the thing is, when you dedicate one day for cleaning, like you have, like you just gathering all the dirt and all that, and then you clean it all up in one day. And sometimes, eventually, this dirt can be a little bit trickier to clean up. So you certainly need to just avoid doing that, at least from my perspective. I mean, if you do want to just clean up on just one day, then that is also possibly a good idea for some people, but not for me. So at least this is my perspective, and perhaps it will just keep you going. Like, if you, for example, live a sedentary life, like maybe office work and all that stuff, at least you have more reasons just to move around and such. So that potentially can be a good reason just to move around and such. And I think it's not really a lesson, it's more like a observation. An observation. Like when you do keep an eye on yourself, hygiene wise, you would prefer to come in clean in a clean spot. When you go to a dirty spot whilst being clean, you will quickly get dirty. So try treating yourself the same way as you would treat your house. No, sorry, or the opposite way. Try treating your house the same way as you would treat yourself. So if you're clean, make the house clean. Or, clean the house first, then clean yourself, and you should be fine. That kind of thing. And yeah, I think that's something that I have learned from the recent experience. And I've noticed how disastrous my place actually was in the last couple of years. Mainly because I just lived in isolation, and because of the you-know-what, I have given myself an excuse to just not bother about it that much, which was a huge mistake. Like, I should have been more careful with that. But now I am taking as much of a care about my place as possible, and there are still some things that I need to improve, but I will. And I think after my special one's visit, I've got more motivation to actually just look more into improving my house, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. Well, my flat. I keep saying house, but like, I mean, home. And the home can be anything like house, flat, or whatever. So I don't have a house. At least not yet. Maybe it's somewhere in the future. Who knows? So yeah, keep your house tidy. Oh, sorry, keep your home tidy, and it will keep your mind tidy. That's my advice to you. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but like the rain is hitting my window or windows quite heavily. But I like the sound of the rain, especially when you fall asleep. It just kind of like helps you fall asleep quicker. I think that's for me at least. Maybe you guys experience the same. What do you think? Like, would you prefer sleeping with the rain drops hitting your windows? Does it calm you down, or does it make you a bit more anxious? What is your most preferable weather for sleep? Let me know in the comments. So, one more thing I wanted to talk about, or at least just express my feelings. In our day to day basis, we create memories. Most of the memories are easily forgettable because they're not as important, or they just feel too repetitive. Like, for example, you go to work, you go home, you eat, you drink, and all that stuff. But there are some memories that get stuck in your mind for much longer than just a day or so. Like perhaps there is an amazing dish that you have actually eaten, or you have cooked, even. Or maybe the first time you have been with your special one, or uh, or some other bits and pieces, like some good memories. And of course, there can be moments when you remember things that you want to forget, uh, the horrors that you have gone through life. And I was thinking that, yeah, it's okay to forget and all that, and just try to forget things. But I think my perspective has been changed recently. I think it is important that you remember all the things that have happened to you. Both good and, not so good. And the reason why I'm saying this is that because the memories are the moments in your mind that create you as a person. And from both good and not so good memories, you can improve on yourself. You can perhaps think, oh, what can I do to keep that memory from happening again? Or what should I do to avoid this from happening again? And that way you learn about life. You learn about how things are going, and like what you have done wrong or right. And essentially, you just learn from your own mistakes. And if you remember the mistakes that you did, you essentially understand how to avoid them better. Because if you forget mistakes, you have a risk of repeating the same mistakes without even recognizing. So just be very, very careful with what you are trying to remember and what you're trying to forget. I love my memories, even the ones that are not great, because they teach me lots of valuable lessons in life. Even the events that happened 6 years ago now, where I slept in the car park whilst being homeless. Because it taught me a very good lesson of cherishing even the smallest things. Or, being bullied for quite a while. It teaches me to stand for yourself, but at the same time, it teaches me to treat others the way I want to be treated. Because I want to treat people with respect and empathy. And I expect people to treat me the same way. But even though, I still treat people well, even though they may not show a good treatment towards me. But of course, if some people, they just, they don't know the boundaries, they don't know the limits of arrogance, then sometimes it is very important just to put them in the place and just explain to them that what they're doing is not really a good thing. But one thing you need to make absolutely certain: there is no place for unnecessary violence. And even necessary violence. I mean, there is no such thing as necessary violence. I mean, of course, self-defense and all that, that's important. But the power of a word can sometimes be as strong as the power of the fist. But the thing is, like, different people, they can resolve problems differently. But to me, violence is just like the utmost final result. And only towards those who, like, most definitely, without any question, deserved it. Because, just hurting someone who doesn't deserve to be hurt is the last thing that I want in my life. I'm a man of peace, I practice peace, and I practice discipline. So I am trying to be the best person on that regard. Yeah. So, in other words, just keep your memories in check, reflect on them frequently, try to understand what makes you the best version of yourself, and then work on it. But do remember that there will never be the best, like absolute perfect version of yourself. There's always going to be a better version of yourself. Progress over perfection. Don't forget that. I think I have seen it somewhere that if there is a problem that needs to be resolved, try to find the best solution for now, but keep finding the better solution after the best solution has been implemented. So that's something that is worth thinking about. Let me know what your best memories are. You don't necessarily have to go into like too much detail. Perhaps just give me some like vague explanation of what's been going on. And just reflect on it. Tell me what you think about it, like what it has taught you. I think it is important to be more interactive. So, yeah, I will be very happy to see any responses from you. Okay, so I think this will be it for tonight. Another episode is coming to an end. And I'm very glad that I was able to record it tonight. So, hopefully, by the time you are seeing this, it is still Sunday or Monday. Maybe you are listening to it on Monday, because some people do. And I hope you have enjoyed this podcast so far, and I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you haven't, my apologies. I will work on it, and I hope the next episode will be even better. Yeah, I do hope to speak to you next Sunday, and I do hope that there will be lots more to talk about on the next episode. And I hope you will have an incredible week going ahead. It is the last week of February already. I know, time flies. And I just hope overall that you will have a nice evening as well. So, take care. Remember to smile. Be safe. Most importantly, be safe. And try to be happy. The world may be a cruel and unjust place, but at least we can enjoy sunsets. This has been Nicholas Malson, and I wish you all the best. Have a good night, everyone. Goodbye.